What's up everybody, Jack here from Half Chrome, and this is the DJI Air 3S, and it is absolutely the best drone you can buy right now. I love this thing. It is fantastic. It has so much going for it. We have two awesome cameras, one with a 1-inch sensor, the other with a 1/1.3-inch sensor, shoots 4K, 48 or 50 megapixel photos. We've got a 45-minute flight time and a range of 20 kilometers. That's over 12 miles, almost 12 and a half miles. And of course has a bunch of intelligent flight modes. You can see full obstacle avoidance on this thing. We even added LiDAR to this one. This is a beast. It is a fantastic drone. And sure, there are rumors of the Mavic 4 coming. I don't know if it's necessary. This thing is that good. Now, I've done a bunch of flights with this. I have even done some testing. I put this thing up against my Mavic 3, against the Air 3S, against my Specta Air, and even against some smaller drones like the Mini 4K and the Mini 4 Pro. So if you want to see how this does against some of those drones in different price ranges and different price points and different sizes and all that stuff, make sure you drop a follow. You don't want to miss it. But today the plan is to talk about the things that I think make this an even better drone. So stay tuned, we're going to get into it. Now, some of these accessories are fairly inexpensive, and some of them, well, they might cost you a pretty penny. And I'm gonna start with the thing that I think is most important. If you have one of these, you're going to need extra batteries. Yes, 45 minutes is a ton of flight time, but you know what's not cool is just needing an extra 5 minutes when your battery is dead. So grab an extra battery or two, and this charging hub makes it super easy to charge them. You just plug it in and you go. Now, generally speaking, I think you want 2 batteries, sometimes 3. Unless you're a hardcore pro, you probably don't need more than that. But ultimately, you're the one that's gonna decide how much flight time do you need. Do you do a bunch of jobs a day, or do you just take this out on the weekend for fun? We've got a 45-minute flight time, but really, it's not gonna last 45 minutes in most situations. So kind of plan on 30 minutes, a full battery, and you should be good to go. And then from there, figure out how many batteries you need. Now, in order to charge those batteries, you're gonna need something like this. This is an Anker 100-watt charger. Now, DJI sells a 100-watt charger, but it's way more expensive. This guy from Anker, I think it was like $25. That's the way to go. Now, a 100-watt charger will charge your battery in about an hour. A 65-watt charger will take you 80 minutes per battery. So if you've got multiple batteries, you're gonna want one of these chargers. And there was no charging brick included in the Fly More combo. That's kind of disappointing. So go ahead and pick one of these things up. Now, if you did not already get one of these RC2s with the built-in screen, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic. It is so nice to not have to deal with my phone. The screen is great. It works in bright sunlight. It just makes flying easier and faster and more efficient. But if you did get the remote without a screen, I'd recommend looking into an iPad mini, not a full-size iPad, but an iPad mini. I feel like that's actually a pretty solid compromise. And I have a link to a 3D printed part so you can connect it to the RC. Link to that and basically anything else. If you're considering buying one of these things, I've got links to them all down below. Now, yes, they're affiliate links. They help support this channel. That's just so I can keep making videos for you. It doesn't even have to be that thing. It's like maybe you need a new pair of socks. Get some socks. Sends me a little commission. It's just a way to say thanks. Now, these little things are next on my list. Don't cheap out and buy a no-name SD card. It's just not worth it. You want the best. This thing takes great pictures and videos. Make sure you're getting a high-quality SD card. And there are 3 that I recommend. This black and gray one is a Lexar 1066S. And this is actually the one that DJI recommends. I've had good luck with these, and they're probably the most expensive one that I would recommend. I've also had really good luck with these Extreme Pros. SanDisk makes a high quality SD card, and this is another good option. Not quite as expensive as the Lexar, but again, these things aren't super pricey. And the least expensive one I'd recommend is this SanDisk Extreme. I've had plenty of luck with SanDisk Extremes. I've been using these for years. Probably gonna want a 64 or a 128 at the minimum. That's usually what I use. I don't have really long shoots, but you kind of have to figure how much memory do you need. Also, there is about about 40 gigs of storage on board, which is nice, and that is fantastic, but you definitely still need an SD card. Okay, the next thing I recommend is actually not a thing to buy, it's a thing to do. It's your Part 107 certification. This drone is so good. It is professional grade quality. Why not be able to sell some of those pictures and video or make a buck or throw them up on YouTube? Yes, if you want to put things on YouTube and your channel's monetized, you have to have a Part 107. And Part 107 can be tricky. You have to understand things like METAR weather reports and airport operations and reading sectional charts. There's a lot that goes into it. It just so happens that I teach a high school class on drones and the Part 107. We get high school kids certified every year, and I've gone ahead and taken some of the stuff that I built for that class and I created some videos. And you can basically learn all of the things you need from me for $5 if you're a Patreon. I would link down below to how you can be a Patreon and learn how to pass the Part 107. You got a question? Hit me up. And while you're studying, you're gonna learn that you need a light on your drone if you're gonna fly at night. You're gonna wanna pick up something small like this. Usually what I do is I put a little piece of either Velcro or 3M VHB tape right here, and then I stick it to the top of my drone when I put it up at night, and this does the job. It has to be visible for 5 statute miles, and this little guy here will absolutely do the job. I'll throw a link to this. I believe it's the Firehouse Arc 5 down below. Okay, so the next thing on my list is this right here. This is a case, a hard case. Now, if you bought the Fly More combo, you got a bag, and that is actually really nice and convenient for just quick day trips. But if I'm going boating or I'm going somewhere where I need my drone to be protected, a hard case is where it's at. This thing is waterproof. It will float. I had to put like 40 pounds of weight to get this thing to sink in my fish tank to test to see that it actually held water out, and it did. There are different configurations of hard cases. This configuration actually was for my Air 3 and my Air 3S, yes, surprisingly fits in here in this case. I didn't have to buy new foam to do that, although it's a little bit tight, so I had considered it, but with the gimbal guard on, it's good to go. But this is great to protect your investment and to keep it safe. When it comes to protecting your investment and keeping it safe, one of these is also a must. This is a landing pad. Landing pads are cheap. They're like 20 bucks or less, and they're awesome if you're landing on thick grass, wet grass, snow, dirt, sand, any of those things. As you land or take off, might get kicked up and into the motors or on the lens and ruin a shot. You don't want that. Get a landing pad, fold it up, put it in your case, and you'll keep your drone nice and clean and safe. It's the way to go. You can see that on my drone here, I have a split ND filter. Now, I really like ND filters. They're good if you want to get the right motion blur. Because this does not have a fixed aperture, you probably want ND filters if you do video. Pictures, not super necessary. But why a split ND filter? Why not just a standard ND filter? DJI sent me ND filters. They're not split. That came in my Fly More combo, but I'm not using them. I'm using these. These are my split filters from Freewell. And the reason you want a split filter versus a standard filter is because we have 2 cameras on this drone with different apertures. So let's see how this plays out. You can see my shutter speed is 1/1000. I've fixed my ISO, I'm in pro mode, and as I change cameras, it's jumped to 1/400. I'm gonna switch back to 1/1000. Now, if I put on a split ND filter to kind of make up that difference, I'm at 1/60. As I switch cameras, it goes back to 1/60. It'll change momentarily, but as I toggle between the two, it's finding that same shutter speed, so I don't have to do it manually. Now, if you're not sure how to use ND filters, I have a video on that, and I have a nice chart here to help you choose the right one. Freewell also makes an LPR, so if you want to take pictures at night with lots of lights and there's some light pollution and you want to reduce that, that's what this guy is for. They also sent me a mist filter, which is actually really cool when you have lights and you want to kind of emphasize that halo around them. I did a really neat shot a couple years ago with some mist filters, but they're very use case specific. But you know, if you want things to glow a little bit, mist is where it's at. Okay, so one of these is actually my next recommendation, and this is the Mini 4, the Mini 3, and the Mini 4K. And these are excellent backup drones. Now, depending on what your budget might be, I think having a backup drone or a second drone for various shoots is a really good idea. Now, the Mini 4 Pro is the best, but it's a little expensive. This thing is a powerhouse. It is amazing how good the camera on this drone is. If you can afford it, this is the one that I recommend, and it's nice and small, and actually sometimes it even fits in that case. You might have to take out the charger, but this is an excellent backup drone. Now the Mini 3 or the Mini 3 Pro has a very similar camera, not quite as nice, but pretty darn impressive. But also the Mini 4K, just under $300, is an inexpensive, excellent option. So if you need to save a few bucks, this is a great backup drone to have. Super small, lightweight, portable, fits right in your bag or case, and you can get going with this guy. And my bonus thing that I think you should consider is actually this. This is the Neo. It is so fun to fly. It is so different and so easy. You just tap a button and it flies. You can fly it with the remote controller that you have with your Air 3S. There are so many ways to fly this drone. It is so versatile and so fun, and it's only 200 bucks. Pick this up for you just for fun. It's not professional grade. This is not a backup drone. This is just, I just want something that's really fun to fly. Yeah, it's this guy. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If it was, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And remember, if you want to buy any of these things, I've got links down below. They help support this channel. It's a way to say thanks. Don't forget to check out my Patreon if you're interested in that Part 107. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.